My Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters, the 12 tribes of Israel scattered all over the earth. I just want to say, welcome back. And this is your Marais, Dr. Yeshua. Just want to take this moment, my brothers and my sisters, to thank you. Thank you so much for your subscriptions. Thank you for your likes. And thank you for your comments. Just want to say how much we appreciate you. We appreciate what you're doing to help advance the kingdom. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we are in the book of the Psalm, and we are in Psalm 38. Yesterday, the last session, we dealt with verse 3. And the title for the psalm is A Man in Pain Prays. A man in pain prays. It's like you are in pain, but you do not allow anything to hinder you from praying. And this was, David, King David, our cousin. We're going to start verse 4. But before I start on verse 4, my brothers and my sisters, I want to encourage you. Please, every time you come online and you're going to go to the journey back to Abaya, as you view, it don't take very much. Just have to remember, as you view, please just say like, okay? We want you to like it. We have a lot of people viewing, but not quite as many that are liking it. And so we want to ask you to like it. Amen? Praise his holy name. Praise his name. And my brothers and my sisters, when you do that, everything gonna be all right. Amen. Praise his holy name. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. My brothers and my sisters, I was so tickled today. I was talking to a brother, and he said to me, be a blessing and walk with the King. He has never watched any of my videos. He said I never watched it. But this is one of his style of telling people. I said, this is one of my style too. And I say, the journey back to Abaya, I said that very few times I miss, okay? I try to be always remembering to say it, and so be a blessing to someone today and walk with the King. This is the whole duty. Our whole duty, my brothers and sisters, is to be a blessing to someone. YAHUAH blesses us. We ought to be a blessing to someone. Praise his holy name. So in verse 4, for my iniquity are gone over my head as an heavy burden. They are too heavy for me. Now, if you go back and you look at verse 1, you're going to see where David crying out to YAHUAH. Oh, YAHUAH. Oh, YAHUAH. My Elohim. He said, he's asking YAHUAH not to rebuke him. Not to rebuke him. Not to rebuke him in his hot displeasure. Or in his wrath, rather. And so, my brothers and my sisters, here in verse 4, because, not only that David had mentioned in the previous verses the fact that his bone is tired. Like he got to a point where, look, I've done all I can. I've run all I can. Now, he said, I am tired. I said, my bones are tired. Now, here in verse 4, listen to what he said. He said, For my iniquities are gone over my head. Okay. For my, you see, David was sinning. He had done wrong. You know the word iniquity here, in reality, we're going to go look at it, but in reality, it's all kind of sins. You know? That's what iniquity really is. A person committing all kind, not just one thing, a multitude. Everything is compounded, you know. So we see here the word iniquity is the word avon, okay, avon. And what it's saying here is avon is iniquity, it is guilt, it is punishment for iniquity. Avon. It is Aleph, Vav. If you paleo, you're going to be wow. Okay, you're going to be Ayin, wow, and Nun. And so here he's saying that, hear what he's saying. I am at fault. I am sinful. I commit all kind of sin. He said, I've caused mischief. And I know that there's punishment. The punishment of iniquity, the punishment of sin. Another word, another Hebrew word that's used is ovon. And look, I want to ask you, my brothers and sisters, please stop where you are right now and get you a pen. Get you a pen and a piece of paper or notepad or whatever. And I want to write down 2 Kings chapter 7 verse 9. 2 Kings 7, 9, and also Psalm 51 verse 5. And also Psalm 51 verse 7. Okay? Avon. It come from another word, Abba. Abba. And this word here, my brothers and my sisters, sometimes, you know, we use it lightly. But what this word really means, it is perversity. It is moral evil. My brothers and sisters, it's a fault. Iniquity, it says mischief. And so there's punishment, my brothers and sisters. There's punishment for iniquity. There's punishment for sin. Many times people just, you know, they just feel like, hey, look, I am what I am. That's what they tell you. But they're not realizing, they're not realizing the consequences that have to be paid. Yes, my brothers and sisters. There's a Aramaic word that is, you know, corresponding with that. And it is abad. Abad means to perish. Means to perish. To break or to destroy. It's like auction. It doesn't matter what you do, you cannot escape this. You're gonna fail. Whatever you do, if you have iniquity in your life and you're not confessing to Yahuwah, my brothers and sisters, and you try to do anything of value, you're gonna fail. Until you make it right, you are going to fail. You're going to lose, my brothers and sisters. You're not going to win. You know, you're going to cause to perish. Are you going to be made to perish? You're going to spend your time out there. And my brothers and sisters, you're not going anywhere. It's like like our ancestors, you know. They sin against Yahuwah, they rebel and they argue and they quarrels, and guess what? A whole generation of them died. Everybody that came out of Egypt, with the exception of Joshua and Caleb. Moses was in the bush, in the wilderness. He never said, at least he viewed the promised land, but he never get in there because he sinned too. He disobeyed Yahuwah. He hit the rock instead of speaking to the rock. And we got to do it exactly the way that Yahuwah said. This is the reason why Yahuwah is punishing nations that chastise us. Because you see what? Yahuwah gave them a limit as to how far they can go. They're so happy for the opportunity to punish our ancestors that they don't care. They just go beyond. You know, they just say, look, I'm going to get my stomach filled of this. I'm going to be satisfied when I finish with them. But my brothers and sisters, the word here means to break or to destroy. That's the Aramaic term. You know, you can't escape. You're going to fail. And you're going to be made to perish. You're going to spend your time wandering, just like the people wander in the wilderness. You're going to spend your time wandering. Can't succeed because we have iniquity in our hearts. We got to get rid of it. We got to ask Yahuwah to cleanse us of that. We got to get rid of anything, my brothers and sisters. So the primitive root of this word here, as we say, is to wander. Wander away. It is to lose oneself. And by implication, my brothers and sisters, it's talking about to perish. To be destroyed. You know. Cannot escape. You fail every time you put your hand to something, you fail. Deuteronomy chapter 28. When you talk about the curses and the blessings and the curse, if they choose the curse, my brothers and sisters, this is what happened. We fail every time we put our hands to do something. It failed because we are not walking the way that Yahuwah wants us to walk. Praise His holy name. We need to walk. We need to walk, my brothers and sisters. You know, in other words, you're going to be undone. Be undone. Utterly. Be void of, you know, all of the blessings that Yahweh wants to give you. You're going to be void of them. Have no way to flee. Yes, my brothers and sisters, we can't hide. There's an old saying that you can run, but you cannot hide. You know, praise His name. Praise His, hallelujah. Praise His name. So He said here, for mine iniquities are gone over my head. I want to look at the word head there. Rosh is the word. Rosh. And it is, you know, Resh, Aleph, and Shen. Rosh. And my brothers and sisters, what is talking about here? What it's talking about here? It's talking about your head. Your literal head. You know, you talk about your head. It's like you talk about a band. It could be the head. It could be a band, a captain, or company of people. And it comes from an unused root. Means apparently meaning to shake the head. You know, to shake the head. As most easily shaken. You shake the head. Whether literally or figuratively. You know, and you know, you shake the head, and you could say you shake the head of place, you shake the head of time, you shake the head of rank, you know, the band beginning, you know, the captain, you know, capital, the chief, you know, and you know, the company. And so, my brothers, my sisters, what is that about here? You know, it can be the most excellent person, you know. It can be the person at the forefront, first and foremost. You know, it can be, you know, the head can be the high, It can be part of the, like the priest, the leader. It can be the poor principal, or it can be the ruler, and the one on the top. Okay, so that's what he's talking about there. So he gone over his head. He said, "My iniquities are gone over my head," and this is what he said: as an heavy burden, a heavy burden. My brothers and sisters, Yahuwah, he wants to release us. He wants to relieve us of that heavy burden. He said, "Come unto me, all ye that have labored and are heavy laden, I will give you rest." Yahushua said that. He said, "Take my yoke upon me and learn of me, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." My brothers and sisters, we have a heavy burden. Just like, we're not any better than David. Heavy burden. They are too heavy. It's a heavy burden, my brothers and sisters. The word burden here is the word masa, and it's the Hebrew word masa is mem, sin, and aleph. And what it's basically talking about a burden that's a load, burden, something lifting, bearing something. Sometimes the word burden can be also tribute, okay? But burden, you carry away. There's a prophecy. There's set the song, a tribute. It comes from another word, nasa, a burden, specifically a tribute. Porterage. You know the word porterage, and from a figurative standpoint, we can say it's also an utterance, chiefly a doom, specifically. Some people go singing, it can be a mental thing, it can be a desire, burden. You have a heavy burden, something you have on your mind. You're carrying a heavy burden. Sometimes, it's a prophecy. The prophet, he has a burden to carry, the word to share, because Yahuwah wanted to, take the word to a people. And it's so heavy, it's a whole lot of thing that you have to do. It's a whole lot of thing the people have done, and you got to straighten these people out. You got to set them right. You got to set them right. So we have to accept it or reject it. The burden can be advised. To advance, right? And you can arise. But the burden that David is talking about here is that he gone over his head. Okay, gone over his head. It's like he got to a point where he said it's like an armor. I can't bear it. It's too much. Too much for him. So he's a suffer, and suffer to bear, to bring up, to bring forth. Psalm. Write this down. Psalm. I put this on there, but I didn't put the verse. But if you go back and you like Psalm 51, right? And you look in Psalm 51, and you're gonna see what David mentioned there about, he's saying, and he want Yahweh to wash him with hyssop, that he may be clean and so on. But the word there is used in such a great variety of application, But my brothers and sisters, what he's saying here is that Yahuwah wants us to. He wants us to understand that when we have a burden, when we have a problem, we don't take it out on ourselves. We don't take it out on others. We take it to Yahuwah. Like David did. Lay it at his feet. As high and lofty as we want to be, Yahuwah is higher and loftier than that. You know. And so we can magnify the burden, okay? But if you magnify the burden and you don't magnify Yahuwah, you magnify Yahuwah who's able to take the burden, who's able to pardon you and I from that sin that that is pressing us down, things that are, pressing us down, receive, Yahuwah's favor, as we being burdened, and believe me, my brothers and sisters, Yahuwah has respect to us. Just like we respect him, he has respect. He's not going to leave you by yourself. He want to set you up. He want to spear you. He want to stir you up. He want to take away the burden. He don't want you to keep wearing that. But in order for us to lose the burden, to get away from it, is to yield ourselves. And once we yield our lives to ourselves to Yahuwah, he can remove that heavy burden that David is talking about there. And each of us, my brother, my sister, we had times in our lives when we experienced that. He said it's too heavy. This burden that he's talking about here is too. They are too heavy. Look at that. They are too heavy. They are too heavy. Calf, and dalet. That's kabad. Kabad. The word kabad. Kabad or kabed. To be heavy, weighty, something that is burdensome. Yes, my brothers, my sisters. Burdensome. It is be heavy, weighty, burdensome. Something abounding. With. You talk about something grievous, something that afflicts you. A lot of people running around boasting, but they don't realize. You sin, you do something wrong and you go boast about it. No, David was not boasting about it. One thing I can tell you, he can boast in the Lord. He boasts in Yahuwah. He boasts in Yahuwah for taking the burden away. That's what he wants us to do. So you're being chargeable. And you know what? When you're going through something that is too heavy, it makes you dim. Kabed. Primitive root. To be heavy. And it can be in a bad sense, okay? Which is burdensome and severe, dull, or in a good sense. To be rich, to be honorable, praise his name. To make weighty in a good sense, can be that. Abounding with more. But is it more grievous? When it's in the bad sense, it's grievous and it afflicts you. And you can't boast and brag about it. And a person who is boasting and bragging about something that is negative, you know that Yahweh is not getting glory for that. Okay? But we glorify him because when he does whatever he does it gloriously. And we trust him. It's to his glory, to his praise and glory. Honorable, my brothers and sisters. Praise his holy name. And become you're a noble person because you're handling it the way that Yahuwah wants you to handle it. And so in this case, you're going to prevail. You and I, we're going to prevail, my brothers and sisters. And He's going to promote us. He's going to honor us. He's going to make us rich. You know. And He's going to run around. Nothing can stop me now. I praise His holy name. Because Yahuwah is in charge and He's taking all of this. Praise His name. Hallelujah. We're going to ask you, my brothers and sisters. We're going to ask you to be a blessing to someone today. And walk with the King. Shalom.